Welcome back to another episode of Shy Proceed. I hope you've missed me because I have missed you. Today's show is a special show to my heart because I have someone with me today that I should have had on my show a long time ago. That is all my own fault. I'm an awful person. It's me, not you. I met this young lady, I think 2 years ago now. At the Sphere Podcast Studios in Houston, and she has always been, from beginning, a welcoming heart, soul, and smile. So please welcome to the show, Kamesha Jordan, Misha, podcaster, podcast creator, and host extraordinaire, and most importantly, she is a Navy veteran. So welcome to the show, Misha.
Thank you.
Oh, Miss Misha, you are a podcast.
I feel like the red carpet.
Let me just say that the evolution of who you are when it comes to podcasting is beautiful. You were a co-host on Vivid Vibe for quite some time. And now you have curated and created, and now you're hosting your own podcast called The Melanated Veteran. And that is something truly near and dear to your heart. And I'm very proud of you because I know it takes a lot. People who are entrepreneurs or creators think it's really, really easy. You can have an idea all day long, but putting that idea into reality can be difficult and scary because it's all you. So please tell everyone, let me stop talking. Please tell everyone once again who you are and about your show.
So I am Kamesha, Miss Misha for most people that know me. I was a veteran. I was in the Navy for 6 years. And once I got out trying to find a job, I had a few different jobs. I started at the Sphere, which I want to say, you inspired me so much, and I don't think you even realized it, because when I had been thinking about this, and when I was like, I'm thinking about it, you were like, okay, let's do it. Why are you not doing it? What's going on? Why are you not doing it?
I talk a good game. I can tell you what to do all day. Come on now.
So, but that, I want to thank you for that, So what I ended up doing was, I worked for the podcast studio, and I was on a podcast. It was me and 2 other people, which, I enjoyed, but I felt like I still wanted something else. And so I was with my aunt one day, and I was like, just kind of feeling down. And she's like, why don't you do something? Why don't you do your own podcast? I'm like, well, I don't know what I talk about. She said, why don't you talk about you being a veteran? And I thought about it. I was like, but what would I do? And then she was kind of like, look, you can do this. So I started thinking about it. Like, everything came together, but the name was what was difficult for me. That took a little while for the name. But once I had the idea, I said something to you, and again, you were like, why ain't I doing it? Why ain't I doing it? And I felt so good that, I was like, maybe I can do this. I got this. I can do this.
Yes.
And then you'd ask me, you'd be like, so what's going on with it? What's going on with it? Are you started? Like, have you thought about it? And I kind of tiptoed around it. I'm like, I don't know. And finally I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. And so the Melanated Veteran was born. I launched it January 1st of this year. And I'm not where I exactly want to be, but it's going to take time. It's my baby, so my baby's got to kind of grow a little bit more.
Absolutely. And let me say something to you. I like pressure. I realize that I like when my back's against the wall because I do my best work that way. And I like, because I do have bouts of procrastination in my spirit. And one thing that you did when I was battling like leaving intermission, you know, because but many people don't know. I was on another podcast. We still got an intermission where we did movie and TV. Love, man, that's my jam. And battling, not knowing what we're going to do, and figuring out what was going next, because I wanted to launch Shall You Proceed, because I wanted to do more of a conversational type of thing, much more variety of topics. And you were like, so why are you gonna leave? Give me 5 reasons. I'm like, why are you aggressive? Why are you talking to me like this? Watch your tone. Watch your tone. You know, it's just but you didn't allow me to walk away. And the beautiful thing with that is, you know, that was like my school to figure I can do this. And the positivity surrounding all of it, you know, I haven't gotten anything negative yet doing this. You know what I mean? I've only met positive people. Everyone who came in and out of the studio, positive, encouraging, like, man, that's awesome. And it just made me feel like, okay, I can do this. But you in particular, because when you walk in, the first face you see is you. And you're like, how are you doing? What's going on? And you just seem so outgoing and just vibrant. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I guess, you know, she like what I'm doing, so I guess I'm doing something okay. Because we're our biggest critic, right?
Yes,
so
we are.
I hate the way I sound. I talk too fast. That's that island. That's a Caribbean in me. Like, we start talking around our family, you don't know what we're saying. I gotta slow down, and everything I do, I'm not happy with it. Like you're saying, you're not where you want to be. I'm not where I want to be. Listen, it's the beautiful thing that you did that you don't understand, that so many people do not do, is you did it. You launched.
Right.
You did your research. You took what you knew. You had great mentors, and Gary Lee, G. Hawkins, G. Hawkins on every social media outlet. I love when he does that.
Right.
But on Twitter and Snapchat. But, you know, Gary's a great mentor, and you had Dell, you had Marcus Black, you had everybody there. Well, I'm so new to the game. I'm just new.
But you're doing it. Like, when you were launching it by yourself, you were putting stuff together, and I was looking at you, and I'm like, she's got this. Like, I know the journey has been, it's a long journey.
No, it is. And the thing that I think people don't realize, and no one believes me, I'm very shy, right?
Me too.
I'm very, very shy, and I really am not one to be in the spotlight. I'm really not trying to have that much attention on me. I like being real low key. Let me come in, do what I have to do behind the scenes. You love it, I'm out. I don't need, but I have to step out of my comfort zone doing this because, heck, you know, you have to promote yourself. You have to network. You have to do so much. And just like you, I'm nowhere near where I should be or where I want to be, because I know I can do so much more than I'm doing. But I have to also say to myself, and I hope you tell yourself as well, I am where I'm supposed to be right now.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the biggest thing. We have to really realize we are where we're supposed to be right now. I don't want to beat myself up on what I should have done. I have to say, you know what? Every bit of this journey happened for a reason.
Hello.
You know, and you did yours at the right time, because if you did it sooner, it wouldn't have been on your time. And it wouldn't have been your baby. It would have been somebody else's baby. And it would have been, you wouldn't have been happy with your amazing logo, your amazing merchandise. You had your merch, and you had your merch before you even launched. I'm like, shoot.
I know.
Dang.
I had been working on that for a while. Like, I mean, it was months in the making. Like, I started thinking, like, the name and everything, that took a while, but I kind of knew what exactly that I wanted. And like, my thing for me, I'm like you. I'm very socially awkward. And it might not seem like I am, but I'm very socially awkward. And I did not want to be, like, when I was on Vivid Vibe, I loved it. I enjoyed it. But I felt so nervous. I felt so, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing this.
Every show
And
you felt nervous?
yes, every show, like I felt nervous, and it's because I didn't want to say anything stupid.
Oh,
I was worried about all that, and when I started this, I'm writing everything down, like from the questions to what I'm gonna say, and that helped me because I need to be able to prepare.
yeah.
I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't just go off the
Yeah.
cuff.
I understand. And that's your comfort zone. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why it's beautiful to give yourself grace. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And because you give so many people grace. What
Mm-hmm.
I saw with you, and even till this day, you have been there for all of us. You know what I mean? In some way, supported us. You were our contact, everything. So it's like we all want you to succeed in this because we know you. I mean, you could do this. But
Mm-hmm.
like the beautiful thing about podcasting is you can make it what you want to make it
Mm-hmm.
because you can do it from your home or from a studio. It can be about any topic you want as long as the content is relatable.
Right.
There's an audience for it, and there's people out there just like you who you say you're socially awkward, all those things, but you have to work within your you. A friend of mine, one of my best friends, Chanel, always says when it's uncomfortable is when it's time to do something, and that's a positive
Mm-hmm.
thing. You can't always be comfortable. And
Right.
what I mean by that is the beautiful thing is even though you were not comfortable doing the show every time, which is crazy to me because you was on the show all the time,
Mm.
you still did it. And that built your confidence to do what you're doing right now, to talk to
Mm-hmm.
people because you did it every week on that show, every Thursday, 8 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was live. So we were all sitting in your face, seeing everything. And at the end of the day, so what if we stumble and we make, I mean, I stumble all the time. So what? No one's perfect.
Right.
But what I do want to talk about is, you know, right now the world is shifting and things are changing. And there's so many people now going through it. All of us are. It's not only select people. Like when you have a natural disaster. Oh, that's Texas having a hurricane, or Louisiana, or earthquake.
Right.
That's California. It's not us. This is everyone now, and this has totally shifted everyone's comfort and accessibility to things. And I wanted to ask you because one topic I think gets ignored a lot in society is women veterans.
Mm-hmm.
You're a woman. When we think about vets, when you see faces on commercials, you only see men,
Mm-hmm.
older. They forget that vets are younger also, but I see
Mm-hmm.
very few women. And
Right.
also, being a woman veteran, being a woman in this world, being a veteran because you're very young. And
Mm-hmm.
also, how have you dealt with this situation going on, knowing that you have those things you need that you can't probably get to because of your service and your time in a way.
Um, for me, it's been very stressful. Um, I'm whew, trying to. Well, I have major depression, so that's one thing. Trying to deal with that. I'm able to get my help and everything through counseling. Being a woman in the military has been. You feel kind of like shoved to the side a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times. Um, it's funny because I was talking with my mom. You know, my mom, she's a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
and both my parents, they're veterans. And my mom, you know, she doesn't get acknowledged.
Right.
My dad does,
All the
and
time, right?
all the time, but she doesn't necessarily get the acknowledgement. And I told her, I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy her a shirt so it can say, "I serve too, not just
Mm-hmm.
him."
Yeah, not just
Um,
him. Mm-hmm.
I serve too. Um, I'm able to now, like with the VA, they've actually been able to do support groups for
Mm-hmm.
women. Um, which has been very, very helpful. Through conference calls, we're able to actually do that, which, like when I said, it's been very, very helpful. Me personally, I've been trying to stay in the house, as, and that's just because I don't feel comfortable. This is just me. I think we open everything up way too soon. That's just me. And I'm scared to go out there. That's just me. So I'm hoping everything I'm saying makes sense.
No,
And I
but
answered your question.
with your own, no, it was a multi-layered question.
Right.
So, because I know you shared with me before some of your struggles that you have with your depression and anxiety and just all of that, and how heightened it could be right now. Have the podcast been a good outlet for you to kind of narrow your focus and distract you a little bit from those anxiety and those times of where you're isolated? You have your cats, you have your little fur baby, but still it's a difference because every day you at least interact with people at work, at the show, but now you're home. And this is great, but it's not the same.
Right.
The phone is great, it's not the same. And I've wondered through this whole entire time, those who are veterans who need to go to the VA weekly, need to have those visits, and may not be comfortable doing a video session. You know, they're not as tech savvy as you may be. I wonder how they're battling right now, what they're dealing with, and the anxiety of everything. I'm wondering, how are you doing? How are vets that how are they doing?
Well, I have a few of my homegirls, we were obviously we were veterans together, and we check on each other every day, just about every day. And they've been trying to take walks, trying to kind of get out, sending messages, just and making sure, like, hey, are you okay? Just doing that kind of thing. That's been very, very helpful. And then just checking on them, just checking on your people. This has been a very good outlet for me. I've actually gotten a lot of stuff done for my podcast, more than I would have if this hadn't started. Like, I'm able to schedule, interviews and asking people. Now I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable asking people, like, hey, do you mind? Would you be on here? Would you do that? Do this? So that's been very helpful for me. But there are a lot of, actually, like, on Facebook, support groups for the veterans, and some of them, they've been kind of like checking on people as well.
That's good.
So,
that's amazing. So Let me backtrack a little bit because this is about you and your journey, and something that is not discussed, being a woman and being a vet. How, and I know you said it was trying for you. You did 4 years, right? And it was not an easy 4 years for you.
6. Yeah, it was 6.
And it wasn't easy, you said, right?
No.
Is that where your anxiety and depression started? Was it military? Was it the military that started it for you? Do you think you already had those feelings beforehand, and then it just kind of amplified in that environment?
Right. I think I did have some of it before I went in. My first duty station I had, which was seasonal depression, so it was only for just a little bit. I went to my next command, and it was like coming up on three years. I just started feeling more depressed and depressed. So I went and was like, look, I'm gonna need to get some help. Because and I do feel like it did heighten things a lot.
Were they able to help you there, or was it an instant, you need to figure this out on your own? Like, what type of help is, when you're enlisted and you have these battles and these struggles, emotionally, mentally, I don't like to say that, but that's what it is. Do
Mm-hmm.
they have things in place, or did they have things in place then to help you with that? Or was it pretty much deal with it on your own?
They actually have a lot of resources, but a lot of the active duty don't know about it. If I hadn't gotten help, I wouldn't have known about some of the things that they did offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of was like, I wish they would have told other people if people knew about it.
Right,
But I
right.
think more of the fact that they don't want people to be like, oh, I have depression, so let me go, do aqua therapy or, music therapy. So I think that might be why they don't really announce it so much. But I think that they need to.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, I
Like,
know there's a lot of people who leave like
mm-hmm,
early discharge, I think it is, or whatever, because of their struggles. And if it's not, but it's like even in real life, you have kids in school. I know when I was in school, you had to dig deep to find out what was out there for you,
mm-hmm,
because counselors only told certain students, that they had certain things. Or if you didn't come from a family that already was deep into that type of thing, you had no idea what
mm-hmm,
was out there for you. Even to this day, you don't know what's out here for people who may be in between homes, out of work, all these different sources
mm-hmm.
for you. It's like the information is out there, but how do you access it? How do you
Right.
access it? So you did 6 years, you left. How has it been
Mm-hmm.
for you being a veteran and a woman in society? How have you felt different or been treated differently compared to the male veterans?
Um, for me, I guess I don't really feel that there was that big of a difference here, in Houston. Um, I don't. I've actually had my time. I actually have had a pretty good time getting my resources and stuff, whatever I'm needing. Um, and that's not always the case. Um, I Some people, they're like, well, it doesn't really matter if you're a male or female. Some people are like, I just have problems with the VA. Like, people are like, I don't like this, I can't find this. Mine's actually been I've had a good bout with them for certain things. Um, I was overwhelmed when I first got out, because same as when I was in, there are resources that you don't really get
Yeah.
to know about.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to search for myself. Um, and that's part of the reason too that I wanted, like, with my website and everything, have resources for people, because a lot of us don't know,
Right.
like education benefits, disability benefits. There's a lot.
So with your podcast, you definitely created it because you want to give a voice to veterans of
Mm-hmm.
color. Because besides being a woman veteran, veterans of color, you really don't. I wouldn't know, but you would know firsthand
Mm-hmm.
the differences you may feel in society, the respect you may feel or lack thereof in society, and also that there is an outlet for you. So
Mm-hmm.
you had been working on your show well over a year before you launched in January, and you definitely wanted to give a voice to veterans of color. How
Mm-hmm.
has that been for you when you thought about, this is what I wanted to do the show on, because you were uncomfortable with the vibe? You were not, like
Mm-hmm.
you just said, I wasn't comfortable. I was nervous all
Mm-hmm.
the time. But you
Mm-hmm.
found your voice. This is what you want to give a voice to, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been difficult getting veterans to talk to you?
Actually, no. A lot of veterans, like, they were so receptive. I say, hey, I would love to interview you. You've got a business, you've got an organization. And most are like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Um,
Awesome.
Mine, I don't do video. Um,
I know
and
people are
part
not everyone's not comfortable with the video.
Exactly. So especially for veterans, a lot of them are like, oh, well, I don't mind doing it, but do I have to be on camera?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no. So I do mine like YouTube. The audio I make into the video. But
Mm-hmm.
most of the people, like, I put it out. I was like, hey, I'm looking for veterans who have a story to tell. And one guy I worked with, Cecil Davis, and
Mm-hmm.
he's awesome. He was like, oh, he started tagging people for
Nice.
me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I started contacting him, and I was like, yeah, okay. So that I was very, very thankful for. Um, so it surprised me because I didn't think people were gonna really want to do it.
You'd be surprised, and that's the thing. It's hard because you don't think anyone wants to. One, what's a podcast? Two,
Right.
the new thing is having video because that's not really how it started off as,
Mm-hmm.
But it's a way to gain your viewership and gain your followers and gain your listeners, and they just still want to see what you look like and who you are, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people get nervous about that. So when you started doing your interviews, were you confident in what you want to ask? Do you tailor your questions per guest, or do you have a set type of thing you start off with and then you just go from there?
I have a set amount of questions that I ask. Kind of like, okay, if certain things, like I'll ask something, and if it's tailored, especially for branding, like if someone's has their own organization or their own business, then I'll be like, okay, and I'll even tell them a lot of the times, hey, I'll probably ask you this and this and this. So yeah.
So have you noticed that all of your guests are pretty forthcoming, or have they been a little nervous? What has been
Um,
the thing with yours?
Most of the people, they really have not been nervous, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Few people are like, you make it very comfortable, like it doesn't feel like you're on a podcast. It's
Well,
just
you're a
like
very
two people
comfortable
talking.
person.
So
That's a testament to who you are. Absolutely.
right.
So, I know you release every 1st and 15th, like somebody's checks and the bills, 1st and 15th. This when you drop. I love it.
Right.
So, what do you see next phase for your show?
So right now, like my next the series I'm on right now is veteran organizations and businesses. And next, I'm looking into doing veterans in the media.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually already I'm doing mine in quarters too. So my first show was A Family That Serves, the first series. And so that was from January to March. And then from April to June is going to be the veterans organizations and businesses. And so the next should be veterans in the media. I'm wanting to do one solely on women in the military.
Yeah.
So I'm starting that now, asking people and trying to kind of figure out how I want to do it. Because I want to highlight us women, and so those are what's next.
That'd be awesome. Like you just said, your mom served, your dad served, and people only acknowledge your dad's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I put that time in also. I mean, we were
Mm-hmm.
both there. And I don't know why I don't know why I have one of my best friends, her name's Alicia Booker. She's a Navy vet,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, people forget, she's like, heck yeah, I served. I said, I know you did. You did
Right.
years. People forget that women are in this military and we're out here doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
We
We
serve our
are.
time,
Right.
and
I
we all
get
have
people.
battling. And then as
Right.
women, you have to deal with other things, not one thing. Changes if you have children, if you're married,
Mm-hmm.
the same pressures of us civilian women on top of being a veteran or being in
Right.
the military. It's difficult.
Right. I've had people actually say to me, "You don't look like a veteran." Like
What's a vet supposed to look like?
you, I don't know. They say I don't look like one. So I don't know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I love your website, the way it's set up, because like you said earlier, you wanted to make sure that the resources were there, information was out there. So run down really quickly, and I'll definitely put it in the show description. What, besides your merchandise and your shows, what resources have you put on your website that people may not even realize that are out there for veterans?
There's one called US Vets in Houston. They actually help people find jobs. And they also help people find housing. Mental Health of America of Greater Houston. They actually help with veterans that are homeless, that have, mental problems. They definitely help match you with someone. Most of the ones, a lot of them are people's businesses. Like my cousins, they've got, one of my cousins has a haberdashery business.
Nice.
So he does custom suits. So that's something too that I've put in there. Also Combined Arms. That's another one. Combined Arms has a whole bunch of organizations in one. So you can find other veteran businesses and organizations through them as well.
That's
So
good.
Those are a few.
I'm glad. I'm so happy you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's so awesome. I'm so proud of you. I really am.
I'm proud of you.
Stop it.
I'm proud. Seeing what you've been doing, like I'm like,
stop. Believe me.
Awesome.
No. I still have so many questions that I ask, and I'm still fine tuning, and I appreciate you, and I accept and thank you for the acknowledgement and the encouragement. I really appreciate it. I really, really do.
Yeah. But you're doing it. You're doing it. Like you said to me, I did it. You're doing it. And that's what I love, that, because some people would have been like, oh, well, so now we're in this whole COVID, I'm just not going to do anything.
Well, I didn't do any. I mean, for me, I take breaks after each season. Like I've had 1,000 shows. Like, who I need a break? But as you know, when you work your full-time life, and this is a full-time side hobby love, it takes a lot out of you to, as you know, booking guests and trying to find guests and thinking of ideas and thinking of topics and trying not to exhaust the people that you've already talked to a million times, and being open to meet new people and responding back to emails because people are like, hey, I want to be on your show. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're an actual professional. Let me let me set things up and do things. And I didn't do anything for a while. I took the break, and then this happened. I'm like, oh Lord, I can't come back end of March because we ain't got nothing going on. And then it forced me to set up at home that I didn't have it. I was spoiled. I was going to the studio once a week and then sit down, record, and walk out like, hey, y'all, see y'all later. And send my description and say, here you go, upload it. Thank you. Is it.
And look at you now. Look at you now.
Listen, I appreciate
it. It's awesome.
I appreciate you so much. You have no idea.
I love it.
I appreciate all the help. It's just that, just like you, I wanted to give a platform for people to talk about things, regular people, about things that we deal with every day. And I've always wanted you to be on, you know what I mean? You would tell me, Erlene, I'm like, I know, right? Because I would plan these shows out, but now I'm just doing week by week. Like, what do I want to talk about this week? Let me do this.
Right.
So yeah, but no, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the praise and the acknowledgement. I thank you, very sweet of you, but so much more I can do, because then I remember I wanted to do the whole summit. I wanted to do like a big conference in April to kick off my anniversary. And everything happens for a reason. I was gonna rent a place and have people come, and well, I'm glad I didn't. They've been like, you can't get no money back.
Right.
No
That just
stopping.
means that it wasn't the right time.
Amen.
This gives
Right?
you more time to make sure that you have everything the way that you want it, and
Absolutely.
you don't feel rushed.
Absolutely. Like you said, like we said, everything happens. It's not I should have done it then. It wasn't meant to happen. And I have to take that
Mm-hmm.
as a blessing because it may have been me putting everything out there and then this happening and then I lose out on stuff, or you launching
Mm-hmm.
too soon and losing out on something. So
Right.
absolutely. So
One
what's
thing I
up?
have to,
Go
oh,
ahead.
one thing I have to, I love how you do your marketing. Like, I know you do it yourself, and I love the fact that, because it's there, and it's like, oh, okay, so now I know exactly when you're coming on. You're reminding people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I need to. You're gonna be my mentor for that, because that's I'm trying to get on that level.
It's this is I you would think I have like all of these followers and these like it's just the fact that I know if I keep talking about it loud enough and bother people enough and put it posted enough, there's gonna be like, okay, what she got now going on? That kind
Right.
of thing. I just know that when you have something that you love and care about and you want to put it out there for the world to see and listen to, and it's not just my own, if it's just my own voice, I probably wouldn't do half of that. But like, okay, it's out there. But when you invite people on, you want to at least push out for them because they took the time to come on the show. So I want to at least get them heard and get them recognized
Right.
and at least make their hour or so with me worth something. And I want to make
Right.
sure that I have them on more than once, or I use them again, or I acknowledge them in everything that I do. I don't like wasting people's time,
Right.
so I will say, hey, start coming next, like tomorrow I'm going to put up, drop it next week, Thursday. This is what I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
have and put it out there and let them know it's coming out. This is what you got going, and make sure my flyers look like nice. And I make sure I put the information on it. I want to make sure they know I'm not doing some janky stuff.
Hello.
You know what I mean?
And
So,
I love that, because, I'm gonna be honest. I do listen to a lot of different podcasts, like especially some
oh,
that come through and
mhm.
everything. And some of them, I'm like, I I love that you have a message. You you're promoting something. You're not just, oh, like, let's just talk
The show
about,
ain't about me. Stop. It says the show
right?
ain't about me. Stop it. It
Exactly.
ain't about me.
You have some people
I
that's
tell people
like,
I ain't shit. I ain't healing nobody's. I'm not healing your soul. I'm not saving your life. I ain't shit.
but you have substance. And that's what matters, because you have a lot of people that are trying to do what everybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about your show, is you're not doing what everybody else is doing. You're trying to raise awareness. You
Yeah, I want to. I guess. Yeah, yeah.
know.
I don't like. I like meaningful conversation, just like your show is
Hmm.
meaningful. Every episode you've put out, I've learned something new. It made me feel good. It made me more aware. It made me more compassionate. It made me more empathetic. It was like, okay, I have veterans in my family.
Hmm.
My two brothers, my oldest brother's wife, my sister-in-law. I have a nephew in the military. One of my best friends was in the military. I have people in my life that
Hmm.
are veterans. You know what I mean? And you forget, and listening to your show, I remember like, golly, yeah. Like my brother Tony, I said, when we did the family show, I said, Tony, you need to call, she's going to do a veteran. He's like, okay. His wife she's retired. She still works for the military and she's retired,
Okay.
and it's just that it ain't about me. So we ain't gonna talk about me no more. Stop. But thank you. I appreciate you. It ain't about you. See, I see what you're doing.
Mhm.
Stop it.
And see, for me, it's not, for me, I'm like you. I don't feel like it's definitely not about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love I learn something new from every single person that I've interviewed. And when I say I've learned something, um, so the one that dropped today, it was with Chef Edwin
Mm-hmm.
Henderson, from Chefs in the City. And his story, what he went through, he had lost job after job and then job after job, to the point where it was like it got him to where he's at now, and just his journey, and the way his faith and everything. I learned so much. And so that's kind of why I do this. I do it because, like your stories, like these people's, there's something that they say, they have a voice.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So
I just love what you're doing. I'm so glad that you're actually doing a show that gives you comfort and peace and makes you feel meaningful because you're doing meaningful work, and you've been there for all of us in so many ways. And I'm so glad to see you just blossom into what you're doing. And I think it's going to help your anxiety, help your depression, because giving back is one of the most beautiful things we can do, is give back to people. You're giving back because a voice or a story that people may not recognize, they're hearing it.
right.
Who would have thought this chef had this story? And now it's like you may see him in a different light when you talk to that person. People may talk to you and like, I had no idea. I didn't know you were a veteran until, I don't know, like, you a vet? She's like, yeah, I'm like, what you talking about a little bit? What you doing? You know what I mean? So, and being a woman vet, I meet very few women who are veterans. And I know women are in the military forever, you know what I mean? And
Right.
our role has changed as in the military. And I love the fact that you're doing it as a woman, talking about veterans and giving all of them a voice. I just really enjoy that and I love it. And I really like your show. I love how consistent you are with your show. You're consistent. I love it because I'm not. You are like, 1st and 15th is dropping. It's the 1st. We have a
It's the
show.
first. This is what's going on.
15th, we have a show.
I'm like you with trying to get the flyers together. I'm like, okay, let me ask the person, hey, do you got a picture? Like,
yeah,
do you have this? Do you have
I
that?
steal photos
Okay.
off of social media. I'm like, I'm not even asking y'all anymore because everyone don't respond the way they need to respond. Like, I'm just gonna steal them off of social media. That's why I do the Google form. I didn't have you do one because I'm gonna steal your picture. I have people do a form. I haven't done it. I didn't do it for my last few guests. I email them this doc and say, please give me permission to use your photo, for this flyer. And I get a bio so I can at least do a introduction. But if I know you, I'm not going to do all that. I already know who you are. And that way it lets me look professional in what I'm doing. Or I email you back and forth. And my last guest, Tanya J. Miller, who I'll do her show in like 2 weeks, she already emailed me all her photos. I'm like, thank you, Jesus, because you're professional. Send me them photos, girl. Look, thank you. You know what I mean? So I just don't want anyone, just like you, we're perfectionists in a way. And I don't want anyone to think they were just on some show. I want, because it's out there forever, as you know. It's out here. It's not going to go anywhere. It's posted. I have it on YouTube. It's there. So I want to make sure that I am at least representing you in the best light, and it'll get better and better. It's like your show's gonna get better and better, child. It's gonna be amazing. It's amazing now. I love your show. I think it's so informative and so needed. I've told folks who are not melanated to listen to your show. Like, I mean, it's like that, but you said, listen,
because you can learn so much. Like, to me, and my, it's catered towards the veterans and everything. But like, another one thing from my messages: embrace what makes you. Embrace yourself. It love who you are. And because a lot of us don't, we don't know how. So love who you are.
Yeah.
So
look at you dropping gems. But it's true though. So many of us, we don't love ourselves, and we don't like ourselves. We doubt ourselves, and it's stunting. And until you do that work, it's not going to change.
Right.
And the work may look like admitting I need help and getting the help you need. And like you said, I think the difference for you, maybe for other people, is you recognize I need help. Where can I find it? Because I need help. And I know I can't do this by myself. And so many of us don't do that. And I think I definitely feel it's a community thing, meaning people of color have been, it's been embedded and beaten to us. Just white knuckle it, whatever. Just suck it up. What you worried about? Go to work. Put the food on the table. Do this and do that. You ain't got time to fall apart.
Right.
You know, we don't have time to fall apart. And
you don't.
And we lash out in different ways, and then we pass on that frustration, that tension to our children or to our nieces and nephews. Just suck it up. Move. Come on.
Right.
And the beautiful thing is, you know, we're able to recognize it in this generation. And like you said, loving yourself takes work because everyone's not taught to love themselves. You know what I mean?
I'm still learning to love myself. Like because I don't know how. Like I'm still trying to figure that out. And like you know, when you're talking about our generation, we're so used to kind of like our pride. Like you don't ask for help. Don't do this. Don't do that. I don't think that 2 years ago, I don't think I would have been able to even ask you like, hey, when you gonna let me on the show? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would have been able to do that. Because I'm it's like, I don't want to ask anyone. I don't want to know. No.
And the hard thing for me was my topics. I wasn't sure what you're comfortable with. You know what I mean? You know, my topics can maybe a little not out there, but you had to be real comfortable to talk about them sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And everyone's not comfortable. You know, I have a show that I'm planning with a bunch of women talking about confidence and how are some of us missing it and how some of us have so much of it. You know, you're gonna be on that show. I'm gonna have you on that show. And I just think
sprinkle some confidence on me.
But like you said, we have to love ourselves, and it's okay to love ourselves. It's okay not to like yourself sometimes. There's something like, oh, I don't like you today. You something else today. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the good thing is what we're doing, hopefully it brings people some confidence and some love and some light in some area, just hearing our voices or having someone on the show that they can relate to. The chef entrepreneur who's a veteran. Some vets probably think they can't do that. Look at that. You have a whole quarter of shows talking about entrepreneurs who are vets. And you have the ones who are family. Like sometimes there's a whole family of veterans.
Right.
That can be daunting, I bet. You know what I mean?
Hello.
You know, everybody had different war they were probably in, you know, or battle they dealt with.
Definitely.
So, and I love the fact that you have resources out there for veterans to find on your website. So please, what is your website, ma'am?
It is www.themelanatedveteran.com.
Yes.
And I actually just started, I don't know how often I'm going to do it, but I actually just started a blog.
Listen.
I don't know.
On the website, right?
It's on the website. It's called the Opinion of a Melanated Veteran.
Yeah.
That's the... Yeah. So we're gonna see.
I started mine also, but I have nothing. There's nothing there, people. There's nothing there. I'm not good. I'm not good at writing stuff down like that. I'd rather just talk to you. If you want to dictate it, that's fine, but I can't. So I'm proud of you. That takes a lot of. That's so therapeutic and that's beautiful. And I respect everyone who's able to put the time in and do it because I've blogged once in my life, and that was the hardest thing for me ever to do. Only because I had to, because I was overseas living, going to school, and calling every day was getting costly. So I said, let me put a blog.
Hello.
I'm okay. Read this. I'm fine.
Right.
Keep it moving.
Right.
So definitely keep it moving. So I want to say, I love you to pieces. I want to say, girl, thank you so much for being here and just talking with me. I just wanted to see how you're doing, and get your point of view and put your show out there for people. The Melanated Veteran, which is if you're a veteran, listen to the show because you can relate to all of the guests. Every segment when it comes to family and other entrepreneurs, it's relatable on many, many levels. And I'm loving the fact that you're a female podcaster, one woman of color podcaster, two, and you're a veteran. And I love it because you're now putting another face out there that's not out there. And we need representation everywhere. And you have filled a slot. People didn't even realize we had a slot open for, like, it's there. Veteran of color, female, boom, making a voice for
me,
for everyone. That's you, girl. So the Melanated Veteran podcast on all major platforms, right?
I am.
I
am. I got iHeart. I was so surprised.
They are
like,
so hard.
I made it.
Yeah.
I'm on iHeart.
I made it. Yeah. Yeah. iHeart Radio. Everywhere. I listen to you on Spotify. That's my go-to platform. But please listen to her on Apple, review her show, give her some stars, some good reviews and positive feedback.
I'm always wanting to try and, revamp, find, anything that needs to be fine-tuned, any questions anybody has, any guests that hey.
Do you have an email for your show that we can email you?
I do. My email is themelanatedveteran@gmail.com.
Awesome. And I'll make sure I have all this information in the description for the show and how to contact Miss Misha for the show. And she's always looking for guests and positivity. If you just want to send her a message saying, hey, girl, I like you. You cool. She on Instagram, the Melanated Veteran on Instagram as well, and Facebook.
I am.
And you're on Twitter?
No, I'm not on Twitter. I've never tweeted.
It's hard. I don't understand it. I'm too old. I don't know. I don't get it. I have it. I just don't get it, child. I'm a work in progress. Believe me. So, anything else you want to add, Miss Misha? Anything you want to? No.
Just thank you so much for letting me be on here. This is.
Oh, you're a regular now. You. Oh, you didn't know? You're a regular. Once you're on the show, you are locked in. And I will be calling you. Hey, you want to be on the show? Come on.
Okay.
Let's do this. But I want to say that thank you again. Definitely. Please follow Miss Misha, the Melanated Veteran, on all major podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio.
Right. Drops on the 1st and the 15th of every month.
On time, consistent. themelanatedveteran.com, themelanatedveteran@gmail.com for any inquiries or questions, or if you want to be on the show or know sponsorship.
Always.
God. And please buy her merchandise. She has some great merchandise with her logo on. There's a beautiful, meaningful logo for your podcast and for your brand, and it's gorgeous. So please support.
Thank you.
Misha, it's been a joy talking to you. It's always wonderful talking to you. I really thank you so much for being on the show, highlighting what you do, who you are, and the veterans that you are pretty much giving a voice to. And we look forward to everything you're going to do. I'm looking forward to see you blow up.
I'm trying to be on your level. I'm trying to blow up.
You have surpassed me. I don't know what level y'all think I got. You have surpassed me. Okay, listen. I'm just trying to push you. I'm going to be a step on that shoulder and just go. I love it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the episode of Shall You Proceed. I love you. Please love me. Please follow me on all major platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Google, Apple. I said all that. I'm on YouTube as well, Facebook and Instagram. Shall I Proceed Podcast. My shows drop every Thursday. You can find me on www.shyproceedpod.com. Whoop, whoop. Or you can email me inquiries at elisemain2019@gmail. I know it don't match up, but just roll with it, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, bye.